Let me just introduce everyone who's here with us today. We have our police commissioner, Chris Sapienza. We have our council president, Keisha Collins-Bellamy. We have our city council member, Tasha Diaz. We have councilwoman Deanna Robinson is with us as well. We have Carmen Goldberg, who's the representing 100 Hispanic women, also with the Charter School of Excellence. Coach John and Crystal from the Yonkers Knockouts. Reverend Melvina Carter is with us. Also, we have with us Dr. Michelle Uzzolo from the, who is the Associate Superintendent of the Yonkers Board of Education. Chief Rice, Chief Carrozza, Councilman John Rubel, Majority Leader, is with us somewhere.
Is it in the back?
Okay. Who else am I missing? We have Matt Gallagher, who's the head of the Corporation Counsel's Office. He's our Corporation Counsel, rather. Dusan, who's also with the Corporation Counsel's Office. Anybody else? Gail Burns from the Board of Ed, one of our trustees. So it's good you have here. Who else? Bill Sarator, sustainability. But anyway, this is truly a great day for the city of Yonkers. Today, the city of Yonkers is pleased to announce the successful conclusion of an agreement between us and the city, the Yonkers Police Department, and the United States Department of Justice to ensure constitutional policing. This is something that we inherited, goes back to 2007, the police department was under a microscope. The police department was being investigated for a number of things. Our police practicing, looking at the way we practice, looked at the aggressiveness of our department, looked at whether or not people's civil rights were being violated, and it was a long task. When I came here and became mayor, I was met with the Justice Department and said, and was pretty much told that it was we'd have to sign a consent decree, that there would be a court monitor that would come in, and we knew, because we were a brand new administration, that we had our work to do, and we worked with the Department of Justice. Now, I say that with my finger up because remember, Yonkers has had their run-in with the Department of Justice before in terms of school desegregation, in terms of our neighborhoods getting desegregation in our neighborhoods, and there was a stance that Yonkers took back then that we chose not to do this time. We chose to work with the Department of Justice. We chose to change our practices and to work with them on how we can best bring about substantive change and bring about, frankly, a renewed partnership with the residents of our city and those who are sworn to serve and protect us. What we have accomplished has changed the hearts and minds of the Justice Department, but also our community, and on how they view our police officers and our department. This is the difference. This is the positive outcome that when we work together, we know we can accomplish. And I want to thank our partners in government, especially the City Council. It's here with me today. Obviously, our police officers, members of the state delegation that you'll see, I'm sure, at some point today. Our achievements over the past 8 years has, in essence, given us a clean bill of health. The city has experienced significant reductions in excessive force complaints. And not only have we seen a reduction in excessive force complaints because of the over 100 different changes that we made to our department, working together with our police unions, with our police officers, with the community leaders. We also saw a reduction in crime. Just in the past 5 years, a 22% reduction in violent crime in the city of Yonkers. And after the 2020, we all remember the horrific murder of George Floyd in 2020, Yonkers was already well on its way. We had done more than 90% of the different reforms that departments across the nation had to do. Departments across the nation had to catch up with Yonkers and the changes that we made. And we made changes like, some of the changes were minute, right, or name tags. Some of the changes were, instead of our police dogs, instead of a grab and tear, they would grab and hold. Some of the changes that we made were, some might think were kind of silly, right, where it was stop and shake. Pizza with the police, coffee with a cop, right? These are the things that we did because we wanted our community to feel that they had a police department that, yes, was going to be proactive, that was going to make them feel safe, that was going to, in fact, make them safer. And that's what we entered into. A YPD cadet program, a police survey 2017, where we actually got the opinions of people and said, tell us what we're doing. What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? As we were making these 100 different changes. And again, winning over the support of the Justice Department, at the same time winning over the support of the people of this community. The neighborhood stabilization team that we put in place in 2021. The Be the Change. Now, the Be the Change came about after the murder of George Floyd, because we all know that, especially in the communities of color, there was no interest for our young people to be police officers because they didn't believe in the system. And what we did was, under the leadership of our commissioner, we went into the schools and we had conversations with our kids. And we said, you know, you want to be the change. We want you to be a part of reforming policing in our community. And they responded, and they responded in a real positive way. And we were able to bring about young men and women who then decided to take the police test under the tutelage of our police department, and then we helped them with making sure that they passed the physical. They had to work hard to do it, but they did it. And then many of our young Yonkers students became Yonkers police officers under that program. National Night Out, I could talk about that. We all know how great that is. So there's a lot for us to be excited about here. There's a lot for us to be proud of, and we should be proud of it, because we took what was really a dark day for Yonkers, and we turned it around. And we turned it around for all the residents of our city. And now the Justice Department has given us that clean bill of health. And they said, you know what? They were supposed to be here 12 months. They were here 20 years. But they said, we can leave. And we like what we've seen. We like the changes you've made. And you know what? They'll go on to other departments that need their work and support. But Yonkers is a leader in the nation when it comes to policing, because we've shown how we can do it, how we can reduce crime, and how we can do it effectively and make sure that we have the buy-in of the people that live here. They feel that when they walk out the front door and they see a police officer, that someone is there to protect them, to serve and protect them. And they feel confident in that. And that's what our job is all about. And that's what we've done. If I had a microphone, I'd drop the microphone, because that's what we've done here today. So I'm going to ask our council president to say a few words on behalf of the council. But before I do that, I really need to have the police commissioner come up, because it was really under in his leadership that this is happening, also with the leadership of probably the last two commissioners that really worked hard to make it happen. So let's give it up for Chris Sapienza.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. The Department of Justice has ended their 17-year agreement with the City of Yonkers Police Department. The Department of Justice knows what we know, that we are a conscientious, modern, and professional police department. Under the direction of Mayor Spano, the Yonkers Police Department revised numerous policies, procedures, training, and documentation pertaining to uses of force. Over the course of this agreement, we initiated more than 40 community programs, which are still in place today. We have also been at the forefront of police reform, meeting every one of the community's recommendations, including body-worn cameras. It is important to note that this was an agreement, not a consent decree. We have cooperated with the DOJ's investigation in every way and have applied all of their recommendations for constitutional policing. The Yonkers Police Department is and will remain a community-based police department, putting the citizens of Yonkers first. I would like to thank the Department of Justice for the professionalism over the years. Our collegial relationship has brought a successful conclusion to this agreement. I would like to thank the mayor for his continued support of our police department. And lastly, I want to thank our professional police officers who are the impetus for this decision. Thank you.
Council President?
Good afternoon, everyone. I stand here to say congratulations and how proud I am of this administration and the police department and its officers. Many of us have been lifelong residents of Yonkers, and we lived through the dark days of Yonkers past, whether it was housing desegregation, where I ended up moving to the townhouses, or school desegregation when I was bused to Roosevelt High School. Now we stand here today on the end of another dark day in the city of Yonkers. Congratulations to our police department, who have taken the initiative to police community-wide, to have policies that put the community in the forefront, and to also train officers on bias, implicit bias that we all learned when we were on the Police Reform Committee. But I thank you all for taking the initiative and getting us to this point today. I am proud to stand here and support not only this administration and its endeavors to diversify the police department, but also the police force for taking those ideas that we put forth on the Police Reform Board and improving the city of Yonkers. So I say congratulations and stand in solidarity with you all.
Majority Leader John Rubo.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to congratulate the mayor and his leadership, and in making this a priority for the city to sit with the Department of Justice to come up with this agreement. And over the last 17 years, as the commissioner pointed out, the police department made it a priority. The leadership of the police department to sit down with the Department of Justice to make these changes, and for all of the police officers in working with the PBA and the CLSA as a priority for the city of Yonkers, and in working with groups like Yonkers Knockout and Brother to Brother, and in partnering with them to partner with our kids, and to partner with many different community groups around the city to make this an inclusive agreement so that all of our community members felt involved. Mayor, I have to say, you've accomplished a lot as in your tenure as mayor. You've built a school. You've had Supreme Court justice here to cut the ribbon on that school. But I say this is a highlight of your administration, and I want to congratulate you for all of your hard work in working with the Department of Justice, and of course to Commissioner Sapienza and to the entire police department for a job well done. Congratulations to the city of Yonkers.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Councilman Diaz, you want to take
Thank you. Yes, as my colleague said, this is an awesome day in the city of Yonkers. My daughter was part of Be the Change, so we know it does work here in Yonkers. And being that the mayor has implemented so many things in the city of Yonkers, it has brought the community closer to our police department. There are many things that the police department does throughout the community that years before that people have never done. So I want to commend the police commissioner and the police department and our mayor and the administration for coming up with these initiatives. We have to be steadfast when it comes to representing the communities that we love. And Yonkers is a city that we know is pushing forward, and we've come so far. So I want to say thank you to everyone that had their hand in a pot. Thank you to Mr. Morrison at Yonkers Knockouts. I don't know if everyone has been down there, but he is a true part of the community. There are kids that go there that you would have never thought would have walked into those doors. And because of him and his family, what they've done for the city of Yonkers, kids actually feel safe when they go there. So thank you. Thank you.
Councilwoman Robinson?
I would just like to echo what's already been said and congratulate the whole administration, the police department, and the commissioners before you, because they were indeed a part of this. But as the mayor said earlier, sometimes it's hard for the Black and brown community to connect with the police department. And I believe our police department is doing a great job at trying to connect and reach our children, our youth, and just overall community policing, and we're doing a great job, and congratulations, and I am excited to see what the police department is going to do in the future.
Thank you. Are there any questions at all? Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Stevenson, News 12. I was wondering if there was one of these initiatives, you described some of them as people might call silly, but was there one that was surprisingly effective?
You know, I mean, if you remember, right? Remember the whole New York City stop and frisk, and then a local community leader came up and said, let's do stop and shake. And so, because, you know, very often people don't really know their police officers. They come in contact with their police officers usually in a very stressful situation, right? But to have our officers actually go out there, meet residents and say, hi, I'm so-and-so. And have that exchange take place of a stop and shake, right? But it does make a difference, because we all have to remember that the police officers in Yonkers generally were people who lived in this city before they're hired. They're people that care about the city. They're people who have families just like we do, and they just have a really tough job to do. So I think, yeah, I think some of these programs that we put in place, where we were actually we're taking our police officers, and frankly, the unions bought into it. You know, the PBA and CLSA, they had to buy into these things, you know, and they did. Where we actually had police officers working hand in glove. You know, we had a football program, right, where we have one football team, which is the Force versus the Brave, and the Brave are the fire department, and their firefighters work hand in glove with them, and those in our police department work hand in glove with the Force. And they have that little kind of fun thing that happens. But it's police officers that are working. The Force hockey team, same thing. Police officers working with our kids in this community are part of making this all happen. And it's nice to see that whatever this experiment, because everything I guess we do is somewhat of an experiment, it can work here. When we had 7 demonstrations, after the murder of George Floyd, we had no incidents. And there were additional law enforcement personnel made available for every big city, New York City, Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse, but not in the city of Yonkers. Not in the city of Yonkers, where we did not have one incident. Why? Because there was a respect that took place, that is there, between the people that were sworn to serve and protect and those police officers, and that confidence was there. And when I got a call from Albany saying, do you need additional police personnel, I was confident when I was able to say, no, we have it under control, Governor. Anything else? Great. Anybody else want to say anything? Good. Thank you so much. It's a real great day, and we're really happy and excited that you're all able to come be a part of this, this great announcement for us. Good to see everybody.